when Sun Pharma came to the campus, then I realized that a company called Sun Pharma exists actually. Profile and the role that they offered was great. The pay was also good. So I thought, okay, let us try. देखते हैं क्या होता है.
I was given the opportunity to lead the entire supply chain transformation for Sun Pharma. So just imagine a $5 billion company, the operations stretching across 100 plus countries, and a newbie is given the opportunity to lead it, not just be part of a team.
Sometimes some students come for the interview for the sake of it, and we figure it out, we see it, and that's a big no-no.
ग्यारह बजे के बाद करना क्या है? 11 से 4 तक तो we used to have meetings. Then I started playing poker. It does teach you a lot about interpersonal skills, especially when you are playing with money.
HR as a career is not glamorous enough because it's not paid well. Is that true?
Yeah, the N-1, everyone is nearly similarly paid, whether it is HR, it is marketing, it is anyone else.
Right now, standing at 2024, what are some of the trends that can excite the people who are sitting here?
Data plays a very big play that is happening in Indian pharma as we speak. Whenever we used to talk about data play in pharma, that was generally limited to clinical trials and so on and so forth. Now in supply chain, in marketing, the amount of data which we have available and the amount of analytics firepower which is there in the market, both these combined have a potential to change the way we operate in Indian market. Right? I'll give you an example. So in Sun Pharma, what we are trying to do, and this is a very interesting area for us, is that we are trying to create a data-based order generation process for the entire $2 billion business. So India for us is a $2 billion business. Entire $2 billion business, we generate orders basis the information that we get from our partners, which is our distributors. Now that's a huge data analytics work. And this is one of the examples which will demonstrate to you the intersection of cutting edge technology and let's say a traditional manufacturing driven organization's intersection. Other interesting thing which is happening in Indian pharma is the aggregation of the supply chain, supply nodes. You would have heard about e-commerce companies like PharmEasy or 1mgs of the world, right? And then there are some modern trade aggregators which are coming in. Over a period of time, we will see how the dust will settle down and we'll understand who the big players will be there in this. But one thing is for sure that there will be consolidation in the market, and hence the role of a supply chain and an operations guy in this ever-changing or ever-evolving landscape will become very critical.
From your perspective, there's one message if I have to give to you. Do not bind yourself or define or limit yourself to that this is who I am. My advice to everybody when you start off like this is be like water. Experiment, go to the place. Don't say that I am this, if I don't get this, I will not like you or I dissing. Be water, give yourself 9 months, 12 months like that and see how it evolves in life. The more flexible you are, one of the things I'll give you a sense which I am often asked is that you went to China and everywhere I went, I did amazingly well. And we got global awards and CEO awards and all that. Part of the reason is you go with a humbleness and way of learning. You want to learn. You are not going to give gyan to people, right? So generally we think, oh, we are, now MBA and that all. So the thing is, a lot of failures happen in inter-country or cross-cultural and all that is the minute, when there is a hint of arrogance. Be humble and go with an open mind to learn and things will work out well. Most places will meet what you are looking for.
Great. Let's end this session with your advice, Siraj, for the people who are sitting here, just like the way Suresh concluded. Anything that you want to?
Not an advice. I'll say from my personal experience, I'll tell you that The future is limitless, and these are not mere words that I'm saying. I've experienced these. Future is limitless. Don't think that you cannot do a specific task, or you should not be in a specific industry. Never say never to a role or an industry, because it's a long career that you guys are looking at. Technically, you have not yet started your career, right? So you'll do your 2 years of MBA. In between, you'll have an internship. You will get a better sense of what you would want to do as you move ahead. But beyond that also, be inquisitive and understand who you are. Be true to yourself. So there's a hypothesis which my wife and I have about a person or about personalities, is that there's a core that you have, core as in core personality, that won't change, or that would change very marginally over your lifetime. And then there's a crust, which is on top of it. Now that keeps evolving. So you continue to add layers to it. So be like that. Keep on adding layers to your professional experience. Keep absorbing new things, and never say no to any of the activities or projects or initiatives that come to you. There is, again, I'm repeating, there is no harm in saying I don't know.
Thank you very much, both of you.
Thank you guys. All
Thank
the
you
For
best.
a lot of, and I'm not letting you guys go now because I'm going to invite Anish here on the stage. Anish, can you quickly join us? Anish, as I mentioned, is IIM Ahmedabad graduate. He has been working with Sun Pharma for the last 2 years. I'm going to ask him a few quick questions around his career. Anish, welcome. How are you doing today? Are you nervous?
Actually, the first time I'll be speaking in front of such a large audience of IIM aspirants.
Correct.
But yeah, it's a great feeling to be here representing Sun Pharma, which is also the first company that I'm working for.
When you made that big decision that you wanted to join a company like this, what was at stake for you?
So, I mean, when I joined IIM A, I had no idea of which sector I wanted to work in. Coincidentally, when Sun Pharma came to the campus, then I realized that a company called Sun Pharma exists actually. The first thing I did is open the wiki page, learn कि क्या है ये. The investor report एक दो पढ़ा तो अच्छा ठीक है, okay, top company है इंडिया में in terms of pharma sector and all. So that piqued my interest. But when you enter your B school, you realize कि it's very competitive there. So basically there needs to be some correlation between your existing profile and the things which the recruiters are looking for. So for me, coming from NIT Rourkela, finance and prodman was already out for me, right? Then I interned in Titan in a supply chain kind of role. There I thought कि अच्छा operations and strategy में कुछ कर सकते हैं. Then in my second year, I largely focused on operational strategy courses. And then I think Sun Pharma came in with a general management profile. The profile and the role that they offered was great. The pay was also good. So I thought, okay, ठीक है. Let us try. देखते हैं क्या होता है.
Let's discuss the pay.
The right person is studying with.
I'm sure he did not disclose his own, so I'm sure he will not disclose this also. But what has been your management trainee journey? So if I'm not wrong, it's like a 1-year journey that you have once you join the company. What do you do?
Once you join the company, you have to be a management trainee for 1 year, and then you are given a defined role. For me, I have been for 2 years in the CEO's office. So as Siraj rightly mentioned, you start off with baby steps. So when I joined the company, coincidentally, my first stint was with him only. I was told that there was a third party and we need to streamline some sales data, and then we need to integrate the third party software into our own and try to improve the algorithm as well. I think it was just a 1-2 month process for us. In a timely manner, you move on to bigger stuff. So then I worked on some revising our incentive schemes for all of our 10,000 plus field force. After that, I have also worked in digital marketing area, Salesforce areas and all that. Basically, my role is an executive assistant, which is a dressed up word. So basically, CEO को जो काम करवाना होता है, your job is काम हो रहा है या नहीं in a timely manner, वही है.
Right. Also, is it difficult or easy or, okay-ish to work in a sales and marketing portfolio when you're working for Sun Pharma? Because again, as I mentioned, there are a lot of regulations. You can and can't do a lot of things when you're working in an industry like this.
Definitely, there are a lot of regulations, but more than that, there's a huge difference between the sales and marketing roles of an FMCG company, for example, versus a pharma company. So in FMCG, your target audience would usually be the consumers, and all of your ads and schemes will be directed towards it. Now in pharma, the main goal of a marketing guy is to bring out innovative medicines and convince the doctor that your medicines are of great quality and they help the patients live a better life. So most of the campaigns you design or the ads you create will be targeting towards doctors and not the end consumers. So, and there again, in an FMCG company, for example, for your campaigns and all, you can rely on talent agencies. But in marketing space in pharma companies, most of the campaign creation and idea generation, those are done by our marketing folks only. We don't have any external agency as such.
You do things that probably you never have done in your engineering life, right? From there, walking into an organization like this, how do you make out of the life, the 2 years that you have spent?
Yeah, I think the best thing about Sun Pharma's culture is they usually leave you to your own devices. So you are given a problem, and then it's up to you to find the solution. So you don't expect anyone to hold your hand or guide you through the steps. And they are always looking for new solutions, even though it may be stupid. If I go and tell the CEO who has been working in the company for 30 years, ki, nahi, me who has joined for 2 months, I think this is good. So he won't just laugh at my face, okay, I take your suggestion in. And if it's good, it eventually becomes a project, and then, so this is a good suggestion, you go and implement it.
I've been with Sun now for 10 years. So what Anish is saying is so right. So I think 3 years into my journey in Sun, I must have been, I don't know, maybe 26, 27 or 28, thereabout. I was given the opportunity to lead the entire supply chain transformation for Sun Pharma. So just imagine a $5 billion company, the operations stretching across 100 plus countries, and a newbie is given the opportunity to lead it, not just be part of a team, but lead the team which involves senior supply chain leaders, senior manufacturing folks. So that is the kind of latitude which I have received and people in Sun Pharma continue to receive, which allows them to, let's say, explore additional areas of interest and move up.
Anish, before I ask you something and you say something because of which Suresh will hand you over a termination tomorrow, I'm going to end this session right now. I'm going to call up on stage Salil. Salil is probably the face that you would see on campuses very soon as well. Salil, over to you. And guys, please ask questions to all 4 of them.
You have been in this industry for quite a while. What are a few things, like 2 or 3 things that immediately are a big no-no in a potential candidate whenever you're looking for a hiring spree?
Interesting, because look, personally for me, there is nothing no-no unless there is, look, integrity is one thing obviously which is no-no, which is a hygiene to this thing. But actually if you ask me, do we have any set thought in our head? No. So we are very open. So if you ask us, tell us 3, few things directionally, yes, is maybe if I have to say, is that conceptual to your learning ability. Is what we are always trying to see is that do you have curiosity? Do you have learning ability? Do you use what you know to figure out? And even if you don't know, in fact, this is true, is our MD has 5 EAs at any point in time. And a lot of them are relatively new, just 2 years out of college and all that. And they are not supposed to be knowing. Normally, classically, in a lot of other organizations, you will have a very senior guy, somebody who is going to become the next CEO or maybe will become the next general manager to be that. Here, actually, we try to give opportunities to young people quite early. And especially from this set, where you guys have already proven yourself that, you have this ability, passion, and you guys are, you have made your difference, you focus on performance and all that. So that is what we are looking at, your hunger in you to make a difference.
Some of the seniors here would know, Anish would know, sometimes we experience this, I have been going to campus for many, many years, that sometimes some students come for the interview for the sake of it. and we figure it out. We see it, and that's a big no-no. I mean, there are various reasons, and in leading campuses, there are reasons for which it happens. We understand, but we see it, and it's a big no-no. That's the only one. Otherwise, there is no. There is always trying to see yes, but how deep yes it is, and take a decision. Okay. There was a question at the back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My name is Janvi. So my question is to Anish, but I'd love to hear from the others as well. So the pharma sector is notoriously known for being a kind of late adopter when it comes to technology and marketing. With that being said, I'm already seeing a lot of pharma companies adopting AI and Gen AI technologies for their marketing purposes. So my question to you is, do you see these technologies changing the job market for pharma marketeers? And if yes, how soon do you think this change will occur?
Sun Pharma has been one of the earliest adopters of digital. So what happens when we go and visit doctors to help them understand about our products? There are detailing models, right? So those used to be, in earlier days, those used to be paper-based detailing things. But Sun Pharma was the first company which brought in iPads to ensure digital detailing could be done to the doctor. So that is something which is being done as we speak. Now, how do we use AI? How do we use the capabilities of AI, and what would be the impact on the job market? Won't be there that much in terms of, let's say, the detailing part which is there. But yes, new job opportunities will be created. Regarding data scientists, their ability to understand and get more out of the data, those job opportunities will be created, not in Sun Pharma, across pharma as a sector. Because as you rightly said, we have been laggards, but now we are catching up, and we are catching up really fast.
I'll just add one more thought there. So look, much of the Gen AI and all that, in fact, there's amazing, in fact, pharma is one of the leading, globally, one of the leading edge industries on usage of Gen AI and all that for drug development, the clinical development and all that. So as we were saying that Sun is actually hugely getting into innovative space. So that is why we are very quickly ramping up our clinical development ability, and we are getting some hundreds of people in Delhi. We have bought big team in US, people who have been there, done that, and will do it for us. So there's amazing investment which is happening. So we are at a very interesting cusp. You are right about till now, but going forward, there will be companies who will be focusing on innovative drugs, and they will get into all of, because it's now a question of not a choice. You have to do it, because otherwise you spend 10 years doing the drug development, or you can do it in 2 years using Gen AI. So like that, yep.
I'll just add this about AI, that what Suresh was mentioning, how he has experimented with AI much earlier, almost 10 years ago. Even within HR, Sun Pharma is launching an AI tool under his leadership. So I can certainly say that the benefit of an entrepreneurial organization like us is that if we see that there is an impact that can be created, positive impact on the business in whichever area, drug discovery to HR, AI will automatically come in. Yep. Okay, there was a question here. Yeah.
So what I realized is a lot of the APIs that we use, for instance, we don't indigenously manufacture them. We need to import them from either China or one of the Southeast Asian countries. And a lot of the research that we had just started doing, for example, organ-on-chip research, for instance, and nanoparticle research, we don't have a lot of universities in India or even Asia, for instance, that actually have those labs to build that. So only in the US we saw that they had those research. So how do you think we as Indian pharmaceutical companies and the government, for instance, can help bring that innovation to India and that manufacturing capability as well, if possible?
So let's break it into two parts. One is about dependence on China for raw material. So yes, that's true. Dependence on China for raw material is there, and it is it has been historically very high. For Sun Pharma, that dependence has slightly gone down in the last 2-3 years. But from an industry ecosystem point of view, to get those raw materials from India at a competitive rate, I think there is some distance to be traveled. And eventually, the focus that the government has on Make in India, the manufacturing would start happening in India at that scale. I mean, that's the hope that we can have. And then the percentage reliance on China will definitely go down. But it can never come down to, let's say, a zero. It will still be higher. but it should go down from the current 50 or 45% which is there to a lower number. But that is something which will require a lot of government policy push in terms of creating special zones for setting up these plants, some incentives to be given. So all those will have to be considered. From a capability development, let's say in innovative technology, I think it will have to be a industry and government collaboration, which will definitely help us bridge this gap. And see, there can be research done through two ways, right? So one can be a research which is done by an Indian company in India. The other way, you could leverage on the capabilities which are there outside, and the Indian company uses that to develop something for India. Now that is the second space where Sun Pharma is very deeply focusing on. Using capabilities which are outside, developing something and making it for India. So while the country and the focus from the Prime Minister is on make in India, we are also focusing on make in India and make for the world, right?
Some of the largest global capability centers of some of the biggest pharma companies are in India. So AstraZeneca, Novartis, in fact, Salil and I have been doing a lot of research on it in last 1 month. We have spoken to big gurus and big companies which do this, looking at the full pharma value chain. And this is and these are not small. There are companies like, which have, 15,000 people in India, 10,000 people in India, which are doing early development, then looking at, different stages of entire pharma value chain. So if you see, the big trend is the engineering and R&D moving to India. So look, this is how it started. You remember wo Gana, wo Mera Juta hai Japani. So वो इसलिए नहीं था कि Japan was very great at that point in time. It was लोग हंसी में बोलते थे कि या बोलते हैं अरे Chinese माल है यार ये तो. But if you go to China today, you will be surprised at the quality of. If you see Huawei is beating Apple hands down on a lot of things. It is true. So when I was in China and I have kept in touch with China, how it is evolved over time, I have huge respects for that place. The amount of talent and the hard work, because look, often you have talent, you don't have hard work. You have hard work, you don't have talent. That is one capability where I see both existing. And in fact, US also, you guys know that the people who are hardworking and talented are non-US, right? There are very few Americans who are there. So that is where, so I see that same thing happening for India. So a lot of this is coming to India, and next 10 years will be very different. Lot of R&D, even in Unilever when I was there, lot of R&D things were here.
What changes have you seen in terms of the distribution strategy or the approach from the pre-pandemic phase and now post the pandemic phase? Or was it just a 2-3 year phase boom? Or what is the way forward? What do you see the way forward as?
So the biggest change that I have seen is that now we have started to work out ways to get more from the data which I have. I'll again go back to the data play. So distribution as a function has a lot to offer when you are able to make use of the information at hand. Now, as an organization, we have made this as a conscious call that we will be going deeper into the country in terms of making our products available, making our drugs available, reaching to more patients, and at the same time ensure that our availability improves wherever we were present earlier. All that would need a strong data play. All that would need a very strong interaction and closer working with external partners, people who have been there, done that, trying to understand, let's say, what other FMCG companies have done for improving their distribution. Let's say if I pick up Unilever. So the play which we are trying to do with data, Unilever embarked on this journey, I think 15 or 20 years back. So to understand what Unilever did and what worked for them, or rather what did not work for them 20 years back, will help us. So at times it's actually better if you are the last man who takes on the show, because you can always leverage on the learnings which other people would have made through their failures. And that is what we want to do. From an overall growth strategy point of view, as Anish said, Sun Pharma has always endeavored to get more into specialty space. So there are some specialty products that we are bringing into India market, which only Sun Pharma has for that matter. In US and other markets, there are products which we have Sun Pharma has done innovations on, typical Indian pharma companies don't do that. Sun Pharma is an outlier in that space. So we have, and those innovations, those bets have been paying off in the last few years, which reflects in the overall top line, bottom line, and the eventual, let's say, the stock prices. So yeah, but the journey has just started as we speak. There's a lot to be done. As someone had asked a question just before, in terms of digital adoption, data adoption, technology adoption, pharma as a sector in India has not been at the forefront. So that's why the journey is, there's a lot to travel, and there's a lot of value to uncover. So just imagine, with the current set of things and current set of challenges, if the company has grown this way, if you are able to bridge those gaps, then the growth could be still higher.